and welcome to 2 for Tuesday, where I take one ingredient and use it for 2 reasons. My name is Sarah Manaresi, and welcome to my kitchen. This week I am working with cannellini. I don't know how you actually say it very well, but I am working with these fabulous beans, and they're actually white kidney beans, so that's probably a little bit easier to say. And they are found in a lot of Mediterranean food, and since my husband is Italian, or half Italian, I find that I use them quite often, and I love them. They're fabulous, and these are 2 great recipes that can be vegan, vegetarian, or you can put meat in them. Well, not in the first thing, but in the second thing you can put meat in it. So it's really 2 great recipes that is a great crowd pleaser for everyone, right? So that's what we're always looking for. So what I have here is 1 can of beans, and I have rinsed and drained them, and I'm going to stick them in here. Now this is a dip, and it reminds me a lot of hummus, except you're not putting in tahini, which is a sesame seed paste. And you know, some people have some nut allergies, and I don't know if sesame seeds fall into that category or not, but this is a great one because it's gluten-free, nut-free, seed-free, whatever. So it's a really great thing to have as an appetizer. So I put in 1 whole can of those, and this is such an easy recipe. Next, I'm going to put in 1/3 cup of olive oil. I know it sounds like a lot, but this makes a lot. And then I have 2 tablespoons of freshly squeezed lemon juice. Adds a little bit of acid, and it also helps keep it in your fridge for longer without it going yucky. It's a natural preservative. I have about 1/4 cup of flat leaf parsley. I didn't even chop it. And dump that in there. And I have 2 whole cloves of garlic, which I've peeled, and I took off the ends because I don't like that part. I'm just weird that way, and that's okay. So I'm putting in my food processor, and I'm going to plug it in because I know that they all have safety features on them that you can't turn it on accidentally, but I'm sure I could find a way for that to happen, and I would lose a finger. So all we're going to do is quickly pulse. And that's it. There you have it. So what I would do next is add some freshly ground salt and pepper to taste. And it's very pretty. It reminds me, like I said, of a lot of hummus. You can make your own pita chips, and all you do is you toss a couple in the oven, put some olive oil on them, and toast them up. Or you can be lazy like me and just buy the toasted ones that come in the bag. They're really not much difference, I don't think, personally, in how many fat or calories are in them. It's pretty much the same whether you make them or you buy them up. So it's really more of a convenience factor for you. Now, the next thing I'm going to show you is actually the final product, because it took a little bit of time to make, but it's not terrible. It was just because anytime that I make a new recipe, it always takes me like twice as long till I get the hang of it, and just to get everything the way that I want it. So this is a really great soup, and it's rich and hearty, and it's naturally vegetarian and vegan. Yeah, there's no dairy in there. No dairy, eggs, or anything like that. It does have gluten in it, but we can fix that too. So it's a really nice hearty soup, and I'm going to bring it up to you. And I want to show you this, and I purposely left it in the container because this is several days old, and I had some yesterday, and I'm going to have it for dinner tonight, and it's fabulous, and it keeps fantastic. So it's great for the dinner that you made, or it's also great to bring with you to lunch at work. So you really just start with a vegetable base. You have a yellow onion in 1.5 tablespoons of olive oil, and I've also added 3 carrots that are chopped, 2 celery stalks that are chopped, and it also has some salt and pepper, rosemary, and the secret ingredient, if you ask me, is some hot pepper flakes. I tend to go on a little on the conservative side with those, but you know, I think next time I'm going to add up the heat a little bit. So this time I used 1/4 teaspoon, next time, or 1/8 teaspoon. Next time I'm going to bump it up to about 1/4 teaspoon. That's just a really nice heat to it. So I let that come together and just kind of sauteed it, and then I added in some some broth, which I used vegetable broth rather than chicken broth. And I added an entire container, which was about 4 cups, and I added a cup of water as well. And I brought that to a boil, and I put in some rinsed and drained cannellini beans, of course, since that's what we're talking about. And I also drained some diced tomatoes, and I threw those in there as well as some, really kind of surprisingly, some red wine vinegar. Who knew it worked? It worked really well. And I let that come to a boil, and I added some, about a nice sized zucchini, and I chopped that up and threw that in there. And then I put in 3 cups of fresh kale. And usually I buy it in the bag, but I couldn't find that, so I had the giant leaves. So what you want to do, if you can only find the leaves, is take out the stems from them and then put that in. And then while that was all cooking, I cooked on the side some orzo pasta, which is a little baby pasta. Kind of reminds me of rice. This is where if you don't want it to be gluten-free, you don't have to put the rice in, the pasta in, or you can find a gluten-free substitute, and you put that in there as well after it's cooked on its own. And then you top it off with Parmesan cheese. Now, if you are vegan, don't put the cheese in there. Really, Parmesan cheese acts as a nice little thickener, but it certainly didn't need to have it. So, I mean, honestly, I could throw chicken in here, I could throw, you know, little meatballs. It's a minestrone soup, so think Italian, right? But it was really easy to make, especially now that I have the hang of it and I know how much proportions of things that I like. I tweaked it a little bit from its original recipe because I like a ton of vegetables. So I added more in, why not? The one tip I do have is that once it cooks, the pasta does absorb a lot of the extra liquid. So I would suggest putting in probably another cup of water in there as well, and just make up for that with adding a little bit of salt and pepper at the end. So this has been fantastic. My husband really likes it, and you kind of get that little bit, it's Italian, right? But I also kind of get that southern taste to it because collard greens with, you know, you just cook up some onions and throw some collard green in there and some garlic. This has garlic in it too, I just forgot to mention it. You know, it really brings a little bit of a southern thing, especially with the little back heat with it too. It's so good, and it's great all year round, but of course it being a little cooler out, it's been a fantastic soup. And this is, I've had it for a couple of days now, and there's still plenty here as leftovers too. So you can either serve it by itself, or you can serve it with a sandwich, or you can serve it with a roast chicken. Really completely up to you. It's a fabulous thing. My husband and I really like it. My kids haven't tried it yet, truth be told, but that's going to change tonight. So I hope you all are having a fabulous day, and I hope these 2 things become great additions to your menus, and I will talk to you later. Bye!